that, we're gonna go ahead and get into match number 2, as QQ will be going up against NounVerber. Now, obviously, I'm gonna try to keep my biases aside because I am a pretty big fan of QQ, uh, and I do like his playstyle a lot, and it's always very fun to see how he kind of comes up with his crazy little wild schemes. NounVerber, I'm not too familiar with his game. I know he's a vet, 100%, but when it comes to like really knowing his style, I'm not really sure too much. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. It's going to be exciting nonetheless. QQ bias is allowed. Yeah, thank you. So on the left we have QQ rocking the red and out west, and while NounVerber up in the northeast rocking the green. So now QQ's playing, I believe he's playing a more standardized deck. I think the wolf is starting to pick up a little bit. Oh, Tatanka? Okay, gotcha. I keep forgetting that some people's usernames are different on Twitch compared to what's on Discord. But in any case, right now QQ actually going pretty early here, going for the early tier 1. I'm wondering if this was a response to Now. Now it's going to respond in turn. It's going to be a very interesting matchup, as QQ is going to go early with this. He's probably going to go ahead and say, never mind. Sees that the defense is up. He's going to go ahead and just get his 8 farms up and going. And I'm sure now he's going to invest. Actually, interesting. All right, cool. So now he's going to go ahead and just invest just in case QQ goes for an attack. But I think he is going to see this and not mind too much. And he might sell. Yeah, he's going to sell and buy another tier 2 just to protect himself, just in case NounVerber attacks. And that's kind of the funny thing about, okay, and we see that NounVerber does sell and go back. So very, like, a lot of shenanigans going on. Ooh, NounVerber going with a mole in this scenario? Interesting. Oh, no! Yeah, okay. Yeah. There's just no way. There was just no way that was going to work. There's no way it was going to work. But in any case, so right now NounVerber is going to go ahead and just try and match up the tier 1, because QQ is really taking a huge advantage here, as he does go into the Toads, going into the Squodes. Because I do know that for the mod, Toads are very, very powerful in this patch. So it's always fun to see Toads kind of making a little bit of a comeback, because they haven't really been used that much in quite a few years, I would say. They haven't really been a part of any sort of meta. But I do see Toads coming in a little bit more often than not. So it's going to be interesting how this plays out. Now for Verber, I think the good thing for him is that since his defense mechanism is balloons, Toads will not get affected, but it will leave things like his Warrens out in the open as well. So right now, NounVerber is going to go mass tier 1 here. Same with QQ. A lot of squirrels going to have to go through this, but QQ just has to play it safe so he can get his Toads to do a lot of the magic. And look at that. Already losing a pig in that regard, and half of the squirrels already been taken out as well. QQ does lose the rest of his army though, but taking out any kind of economy is good enough in this scenario. And NounVerber decided to go ahead and bring up that pig, which I'm not too sure on that one, considering the fact that it's already almost depleted. We're already 3.5 minutes into this game. Sure, it would be probably good to have maybe later on in the late game if there's a starvation situation going. But other than that, I'm not really quite sure if it was really much needed. But now it's gonna go ahead and try and go greedy with having to try and match the economy of QQ's. Because I guess, well, we're gonna go get into this tag. We'll look at the, we'll probably look at the. Actually, we'll go ahead and look at the economy now, just see how it goes. Yeah, they're both matched now, and QQ has had the eco lead for quite a bit, and now we're gonna see another huge attack as QQ gonna go ahead and go for a flanking battle, and a lot of the tier 1s of the squirrels are going down, but he did lose a lot of his um, his own scrolls in the process. So very good defensive tactic there for Noun. Meanwhile, QQ is going to steadily build up some Falcons, try and find a way to break through this defensive effort, because Noun has done a pretty decent job of making sure that he stays above head, and now it's going to go really, really greedy here with a lot of farms compared to QQ, but that does leave him pretty vulnerable. Actually, no, he's going to go ahead and bring in the balloon. So, the balloons are coming up. We're now seeing some Falcons as well on Noun's end. So it will be interesting to see what happens here. So it's good that Noun decided to go ahead and go for the balloons instead of any others, because the toads can really counters just about every defensive unit in my opinion, I think. So with the fact that they also have a snipers here, I think he's going to see it. He's going to say, nope, never mind. He will have the advantage of, with the Falcons, the Falcons are going to probably give him a good advantage of sight, but it looks like it's going to be enough to go ahead and take everything out, and Kiku's going to end up winning this. So all he really needed was to go ahead and rebuild a lot of his, just go ahead and build up more of his army and put Noun in a very peculiar position. That could be enough. So right now, Noun's trying to do everything he can to try and stay in this, even with what little that he has left. But Q's not giving up without a fight. He wants to take down that mill as much as he can. Even if it takes his whole entire army to do it, he will do just that. And now Noun is in a very tough spot, as he will have to tap, and QQ gonna go ahead and get the first victory of this matchup. Alright, so over on the west side, we have QQ in the red. Meanwhile, with NounVerber out on the east side in the green. Noun has decided to switch things up quite a bit. Now going for a Badger composition. A very standard one, honestly, in this predicament. Meanwhile, for QQ, he has changed it up quite a bit as well. This time going for a Squizzer composition with a box tied into it as well. So it's very, very unorthodox, as I said. That's why I love the way he plays. He just comes up with all kinds of different decks to really kind of use for his opponents. It really kind of go over through the loop. Like, you will never get the same comp from QQ, and that's what makes him a great player. Definitely one of the more versatile players within the competitive scene. And right now, we are seeing NounVerber trying to be a gremlin again, but obviously it's not going to work out. There's really no way he can attack into this, especially. But QQ decided to go for a Moron of his own, as now doing the same thing here. So, okay, so we do see a quick sell over going over to the Lizards. I'm not too sure if it will work out very well, because this is like the only lane, really. Like, obviously with a lot of open space, it's going to be good for Lizards, especially if, ooh, excuse me, especially if NounVerber decides to go ahead and get any of the outside mills at any point. But so far, it seems like Noun's going to go ahead and go into the Mass Tier 1. QQ is looking to possibly, yeah, he is looking to go ahead and try and go for a quick sneak attack. Is trying to see if he can get one pig, but obviously he sees the defensive. I really do like the placement of the squirrels here as well, because like you basically have a squirrel set up for each corner of your mill, to be honest with you. So like if you decide not to rally them together, you can essentially just be like, hey, something's happening, go ahead and rally all your boys in the same direction, so that way you can be attacked. Though I don't know how well that will work, but I like it. I don't know. So NounVerber gonna go ahead and win the Badger pretty early. So now it's gonna be QQ on the time crutch. He's gonna see this because, you know, obviously. And I'm wondering if QQ's gonna go ahead and put down a tier 3 of his own. It looks like he is, and it's going to be the boar as well. So it'll be an old school boar v badger. Gotta love it. Now it's going to see that he's put it down as well. I think they're about maybe 5 to 10 seconds apart. So they'll be coming around at the same time. It looks like QQ is going to once again do a lot of flanking here. Actually, ooh. I see what he's doing. I see what he's doing. I see what he's probably doing. I see what he's cooking. But I don't think he's going to be allowed to. I think Noun probably sniffs that out as well. So he did the wise decision of moving his entire army in that area. And they're going to retreat. So I did like the idea. I really did like that idea 100%. Meanwhile, we do see QQ going to go ahead and go into Mass Lizards, it looks like. Very interesting going for a majority of your tier 1 being lizards here. But now the boar is going to come into play as the boar is now fully bought out. As well as the badger is going to come in at any moment. We are going to see some pigeons going their way. So a lot of macroing here as we are going to hit the 4-minute mark between these two. And so far, both economies are going pretty well. I think the big thing is really how well Noun's going to micro the badger. Because I think that's probably one of the more difficult tier 3s to master, because while they are they can do a lot of massive damage when revved up, it's mainly about knowing how to make this squishy gal over here be able to fend off any kind of attacks that are focused on. Meanwhile, QQ is going to go ahead and get into a lot of defensive balloons here as his boar is ready to go. We'll see how well this ends up taking. I know the boar bomb is not as powerful as it was in a previous patch. I believe it got cut in half. Like, I would think it was down to like what, 22 to like 15. Correct me if I'm wrong. But right now we do see that Noun is gonna go ahead and get this thing going. We have a lot of pigeons, so that badger is gonna get healed up nice and well if micro correctly. Meanwhile, QQ is looking to go ahead and get a majority of his tier 1. He's going to go ahead and... Oh, this is cheeky. Oh, my goodness. Goodbye. That thing is gone. But he's using huge risk. He's to go ahead and get his tier 1s in there to get the rest of it. But, oh, my goodness. That was such a beautiful play there. The board's gonna go down though, and that's gonna put QQ in a very peculiar position because he doesn't really have anything else to kind of protect it. But the balloons is going to prevent any sort of attack, retaliation on Noun's end. So that was a great attack there. Be able to go ahead and force Noun in a position to attack. Being able to try and sneak that third one, as this is going to be an interesting case here, as now the fox is going to come out, and that's going to probably change the game if both the fox and the boar comes into this one. I will imagine that he may have to sell probably the balloon back here, because it's not really doing much, in all honesty, and that mill is pretty much deplenished. So now it's gonna go ahead and go and buy that third mill once again. He might buy this fourth one too if he really wants to, but no, he's gonna go ahead and go around in a circle. He may be going through the back door. Actually, we might have a base race on our hands. We might have a base race on our hands. We might have a base race on our hands. Ooh, my goodness. I was about to say, like, ooh, if this goes into a base race scenario, I would probably have to give it to QQ because of the fact that he has so many lizards in this case, and I don't think. Ooh, my goodness, this is gonna be big here. Because right now, QQ's doing the smart thing of just making sure that he tries and force Noun to come to him, because that's kind of the big thing. As both players are gonna go ahead and dive into the third mill, and right now you really gotta like the position that both of these guys are in at the moment. Meanwhile, QQ is gonna say bump. Having any squirrels, we're gonna go full on lizard. We're gonna have a couple of ferrets to kind of do some real damage, because this might be a base race scenario, but the fox probably might be the game changer, as he's gonna go ahead and take a lot of these tier 1s lunch money, but he has to be careful, because right now the biggest thing that he has to do is to see if he can go ahead and lure them into an attack, as trying to get the balloons to do a lot of the damage. And right now we got a fully revved up Badger for a little bit, as right now it's just the tier 3s on QQ's end, and this is gonna be I don't even know who's gonna win here, but I think you gotta give it to the Badger a little bit for the tier 1 to help guard it. And there's not a lot that that Badger really needs to rev up here. And there's only so much that the Boar and the Fox can do with how many targets are kind of in the way to go after that Badger, because that's gonna be the big question mark. We are seeing some Ferris trying to do some work here, and now it's gonna go ahead and go after this attack here for the Badger. And you can imagine that this is going to put QQ in a very tough spot, as everything is fully revved up. This is probably gonna be Noun's game if the Badger stays alive. No, it's not gonna stay alive. Never mind. That's kind of a big oof. Because even though the Boar's ticking out, the Fox is still alive, and not sure how the Foxes would do, because the Fox can't take out can't really take out a lot of pigs if in a starvation situation, but it's just too many tier 1s in this case to really do